How could I fall in love with the boss? Let me explain, I fell in love with my billionaire boss without knowing his secret. Who would have guessed the boss was undercover as an intern? Have you ever met someone who changed your life, without knowing they were changing yours too? I certainly hadn't. If someone had told me that the quiet intern sitting beside me would turn out to own the entire company, I would have laughed. But sometimes love has a strange way of hiding behind ordinary moments. My name is Emily, and this is the story of how I fell in love with my billionaire boss, without knowing his biggest secret. Chapter 1: The New Intern. I had worked at Harrison Global Technologies for almost 3 years. I wasn't a manager or an executive. Just another project coordinator trying to survive impossible deadlines, endless meetings, and an overflowing inbox. One Monday morning, Human Resources introduced the newest intern. "This is Daniel." Everyone looked up. He was tall, neatly dressed, and carried himself with quiet confidence. Someone whispered behind me, "He's way too old to be an intern." Another joked, "Maybe he failed college 5 times. Daniel simply smiled. No arrogance. No irritation. Just a polite nod. Our manager assigned him to sit beside me. "Emily, show him the ropes." I sighed inwardly. Training interns usually meant twice the work. I had no idea this one would change everything. Chapter 2: Different from everyone else. Daniel wasn't like other interns. He never tried to impress anyone. He listened more than he spoke. He asked thoughtful questions. Whenever I explained a complicated process, he paid complete attention. One afternoon I apologized. "Sorry, our systems are messy." He smiled. "No. They're fascinating." I laughed. "You're the first person who's ever called our filing system fascinating." He laughed too. A genuine laugh. Not forced. Not fake. It was strangely comforting. Over the following weeks we became friends. We ate lunch together, walked to the MRT after work, talked about books, family, dreams, and travel. Oddly enough, he never talked about money. Chapter 3: Small Acts of Kindness. Daniel noticed things most people ignored. He remembered everyone's birthday. He helped the cleaners stack chairs after meetings. He stayed late to help colleagues, even when the work wasn't his responsibility. One evening I caught him fixing the office coffee machine. "Since when do interns repair espresso machines?" He shrugged. "My grandmother believed you should always leave a place better than you found it." That sentence stayed with me. Most people chased promotions. Daniel chased opportunities to help others. Without realizing it, I was falling for him. Before we continue with the story, I hope you love what Drama Spark brings you. This story was created by Pearl. Please remember to subscribe and like so that we can continue to create more stories. Chapter 4: The Strange Clues. Looking back, the clues were everywhere. Luxury watches that somehow disappeared beneath his sleeves. Drivers occasionally waiting outside the building. Executives greeting him with unusual respect before quickly pretending not to know him. Once I accidentally saw him step into a black limousine. The next morning he arrived by train. I teased him. "So, did you win the lottery overnight?" He laughed. I borrowed a ride. I believed him. Love has a funny way of making obvious mysteries invisible. Chapter 5: The Truth. Everything changed during the company's annual town hall. Nearly 2,000 employees filled the auditorium. The lights dimmed. The chairman walked onto the stage. Then he smiled. "I'd like everyone to welcome the future CEO of Harrison Global." I barely looked up. Until Daniel walked onto the stage. My heart stopped. The entire audience stood and applauded. Executives bowed respectfully. The chairman placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. "My son has spent the past 6 months working undercover throughout our company." The screen behind him displayed photos. Daniel cleaning meeting rooms. Daniel serving in customer support. Daniel working in the warehouse. Daniel sitting beside me. He wanted to understand how our employees are treated before officially taking over. I couldn't breathe. The intern was the billionaire heir. My boss. Chapter 6, Running Away. I left before the presentation ended. Embarrassment flooded my thoughts. Every conversation replayed in my mind. Every joke. Every lunch. Every casual comment. How could I ever face him again? The next morning I submitted my resignation. Before HR could process it, someone knocked on the meeting room door. Daniel. Still wearing the same warm smile. He placed the resignation letter back onto the table. You forgot one thing. I frowned. What? You never asked why I hid my identity. Chapter 7, His Secret. Daniel looked out the window. When people know you're rich, they stop seeing you. They see your money. My father wanted me to inherit this company. But I wanted to earn the respect of the people I'd someday lead. He looked at me. You were the only person who treated me like I mattered before knowing my surname. I felt tears forming. I treated you like an intern. He smiled. No. You treated me like a friend. Chapter 8, Love Beyond Status. Life changed after that. Daniel officially became CEO. But in the office, he still made his own coffee. Still greeted the security guards by name. Still helped carry heavy boxes. One Friday evening he asked me to dinner. Not at an expensive rooftop restaurant. Not at a luxury hotel. Back at the little noodle shop where we'd eaten during his internship. He smiled across the table. I missed this place. So did I. After dinner we walked beneath the city lights. He stopped beside the river. I have one more secret. I laughed. Please tell me you're not secretly a prince. He smiled. No. I fell in love with you long before you knew who I really was. I looked into his eyes. I didn't fall in love with a billionaire. I fell in love with the man who stayed late to help strangers. The man who fixed coffee machines. The man who never acted like he was better than anyone else. He reached for my hand. For the first time, our titles disappeared. There was no CEO. No employee. Just two ordinary people who had discovered that the greatest wealth wasn't measured in bank accounts. It was measured in kindness. And somehow, the undercover intern had found the one thing money could never buy. A love that saw him for exactly who he was. Not because he was a billionaire, but because he had first learned how to be human. The end. I hope you love what Drama Spark brings you. This story was created by Pearl. Please remember to subscribe and like so that we can continue to create more stories.